Karibu sana Bwana Denzel.
Asante. Thank you.
Tell me, how did you end up in the USA?
I went to the US for a production course. That's a media production course. Having worked in Kenya for about 5 years, so it was just about advancing or maybe getting more knowledge so that I can advance my career.
Okay, how was your reception there?
A bit tough because you find yourself in the hands of other people that you're not used to from different parts of the world, different race, and even the way they do things, it's a bit different with us back here at home, because when it means when it comes to doing something or working, you just have to do that. But back home, at times we just play around, and at the end of the day things go wrong or maybe go right. So there were so many challenges that I really faced. Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced there?
I can say, first of all, when it comes to culture, that's a big issue. You're from Africa, going to America for the first time, it's tough. We are talking about even the issue of making friends, because people are busy almost 24/7. Guys are working at daytime, nighttime, so it becomes a bit difficult to get people to interact with, because it's all about your own business. You need to enjoy that American dream. You need to chase it. So those are some of the challenges. And also talk about the weather. That's a big issue. And especially when I went there, it was winter time, too much snow and all that stuff. It was a bit terrible. There are many challenges, very many. Talk about even the food. Some of us are used to, the African food. Normal sukuma wiki and all that stuff, ugali. So these are all some of the challenges that I faced as a person, but with time, I got used to.
With all that, the culture shock and everything, what were your best and worst moments there?
Wow, I can always start with the best moments,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I think I really liked the first time I met some Kenyans in New Jersey, and that was amazing, taking a trip to New York, New Jersey,
mm-hmm.
and you feel it's like you're home. That was my best moment. And it even became more sweeter when we had, going to these Kenyan functions, talk about like the Las Vegas Rugby Sevens, the Boston Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
We always have the reunion in Texas, that's
mm-hmm.
in Dallas. So this is whereby you find people from different parts of the world like coming together to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
And you find Kenyans from all corners of this country who are based in the diaspora, like in the US, mm-hmm. coming together just to have fun, to know each other. So that's the best part of it. Mm-hmm. But the worst part, after my training course, after the training that I had, you are supposed to come back to Kenya.
Exactly.
That's a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the paperwork, let's say you don't have the
right papers.
The right papers. You don't have the work permits, you don't have the social security, you don't have the state ID. For me, I used to live in DC, so you must have that state ID.
Mm-hmm.
That's a challenge because you can't get any job.
So
nobody can employ you.
So how did you manage without the papers?
That was tough, and there are so many ways people always try to, follow in order to get the papers. Mm-hmm. And I think due to the course that took me there, mm-hmm. I managed to get everything right, and at the end of the day, I was comfortable.
Tell us about East Africa Radio Show. How did it start?
I worked here in Kenya at West FM, that's back in Bungoma. Mm-hmm. Worked for Radio Simba, now mm-hmm. it's Radio Maisha. It was actually acquired by that other media station. Mm-hmm. From there I went to Radio Umoja before going to the US. So I felt it's like I was missing something. I was used to being on air, talking to people, mm-hmm. running these shows, and I felt I should do something because the Kenyans out there, mm-hmm. actually it's like the entire Africans were missing something of the African test. So I felt, let me start something like an online radio. But with the help of the technology in the US, mm-hmm. We managed to, build a software that now puts the radio station. It can be live on the phone. All you mm-hmm. need is to call a number, mm-hmm. and you don't incur any other expenses. You just listen to the radio 24/7. So East Africa Radio USA is an online and phone radio station, but I'm now focusing myself on establishing an FM radio here in Kenya. Mm-hmm. And it has to be in my county. Actually, everybody's now talking about his own home area. So most likely, if all goes well, we might have an FM station in Kenya.
So, would you encourage young me to go abroad?
I can say yes, and at the same time say no. It depends what is taking you to, abroad. And when we talk about the diaspora, it's not all about US and UK. Actually, even Uganda, I can say, is like abroad. So we have different places we call diaspora outside Kenya. And I think the purpose, the real reason as to why you're flying out should matter. If you're going for studies, I can encourage you, go on.
Go on.
But also, if you're maybe, there are many guys here in Kenya who are hustlers, talk about lack of jobs in our country, insecurity. These are all some of the factors and the poverty that make our people to fly out, to try and look for greener pastures. I can say, going out there, yes, you can go there, try your luck, but there are challenges, especially like you go to the US. If you don't have the work permit, then I think you better stay here in Kenya. Nobody will be able to give you that job. So these are some of the challenges. That's why you find we have some brothers and sisters of ours who are out there and they can't come back home because their visas have actually expired. They don't have the work permits. They don't have the social security or permanent resident of that nation. So life just becomes difficult. Yeah, so it depends with what takes you to that foreign country. But it's always good to experience, to get the exposure, the knowledge.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Good. Maybe before I let you go, I would ask our audiences to ask maybe a question. Okay. Anybody with a question?
Well, thank you. My name is Kenneth Camero. I'm from Zite College. Well, from our guest there, maybe I want to ask, when you are out there, we've seen a lot of people from around here in Nairobi. We've seen a lot of young men and women, like being in, coming with wazungus here from US, and maybe is that a one way where maybe to get the status there, or maybe the papers? And another thing, what did the people out there thought about your culture? Did you felt they appreciated your way of life, and about the culture shock? How did that affect you? Thank you.
Yeah, those are very nice questions, Mr. Ken. The first question I can say, love is blind, and you don't have to love a white lady or somebody else because of getting papers. I have so many friends who are married to even Asians. They're married to, Spanish, from the Caribbean, ladies from the Caribbean and men from the Caribbean. And most of them actually, their love is genuine, I can say that, their relationship. But there are those ones also who do it because of gaining or maybe getting the papers. So that's how I can answer that question, and because that's what I've seen. When we talk about, I think the second question was about?
It was about culture shock. How did you experience culture shock? Yeah,
that affected me, not for a long time. After just like the first 2-3 months, it's gone. You get used to, and everything just peaks because you have no choice. Actually, you have no choice. And the people I worked with, the guys I interacted with in the US for the first time, they actually appreciate, and they're like, hey, I want to know more about Kenya. And I think when we talk about sports like rugby, we talk about our athletes, talk about the Boston and all these marathons. Actually, people out there admire us because of that. So I feel proud because guys are like, hey, can you also run like so and so? So I feel good, and I'm appreciated. Kenyans are loved.
Okay, my name's Derek Bundox, Zite College. I have 2 questions for you. One is, you said you went for further studies in States. So how do you compare the quality of education in America compared to the Africa? And then the second question is, are you for people to seek employment after studies abroad, or for them to come back and give back to the African society?
Wonderful. Thank you. When you talk about the quality of education, our education system here is good. But also when you go out there and you acquire knowledge from like a foreign college or university, I think you get ranked somewhere. It's like you have that extra kind of experience, and you have interacted with people from different parts of the world. You've learned a lot. But also when you happen to, like, you have your credentials, your papers from Kenya, and you go to the US, you know, the US system actually at times doesn't recognize your papers. That's why you find most of our people, those who migrate to the US, for instance, that's where I lived, so I want to talk about the US. They have to go back to class in order to get good jobs, or else you find yourself, you know, just doing ordinary jobs. So our quality is good, but it's always good to also get the outside experience. And with the US system, as I said again, at times they don't recognize these other, you know, courses or maybe these certificates from other countries. You just have to get to their system. And when you talk about the second question, because you can imagine you graduated from Harvard, even most of our MPs here, some of them almost the whole house, they actually studied abroad. Others in Harvard, our president was in Massachusetts, that's in Boston. So it's good because when you come back home, I'm sure you can get a pretty good job. I'm very sure of that.
Okay, my name is Anton Sifuma from Zitec College. My question is, you have told us you moved from various stations. What was the force behind moving from one station to another? Was it because of green pasture or poor working conditions?
I think when you're good at what you do, you can find yourself, you know, being admired by many people. I started from a very small radio station in Uganda called Rock FM, and then West FM saw this guy maybe can deliver, and I moved on. From West FM, I came to Radio Simba, and I was doing the breakfast show alongside the lady called Lindo Riaso, now at QFM. And when it was sold, that's when I moved to Radio Umoja. But my intention was not all about money. It was about, you know, trying even to get a radio station that can help me reach to a wider audience. As you know, West is just like a regional radio. But the moment I got a chance to work for Radio Simba, I think it really helped me a lot. So it should not be all about money. It's about you loving what you do and delivering it very well so that you can capture the audience. If you're good, I think many stations will actually look for you. You don't need to look for them.
It was really nice having you on the show. Thank you very much, Mr. Denzeli, for creating your time.
You're welcome.